Hello Keir, welcome back to Pardon My Vlog. I'm recording this again. I filmed it yesterday with hopes to kind of get it recorded and out on time, but I think I rambled a bit, and I probably will do again today because it's quite late and I'm a bit tired. But I'm just going to get straight into your question. You asked me how would I put agency into a video game, something along those lines. First off, I'm just going to bring up a further question, answer your question with a question. Do we really want agency in a video game? One of the examples you gave was Minecraft. You're dropped in the world and you're just told, do whatever you want. You can build, you can create, you can destroy, you can kind of have just a build mode where you have everything given to you, or you can do like a survival where you need to eat to survive and you need to kind of mine everything that you want to build with. You can kind of go out and slay the Ender Dragon and complete the game. You can talk to NPC villagers somewhat. I never really got around to that part when I was playing Minecraft, but so you have agency, you do what you want, but you do so at the expense of a narrative. What's the story of Minecraft? You're in a world and you maybe fight a dragon if you want to. Take a different game, not one that I've kind of played through, I've just done the first chapter, but The Witcher 2. You're dumped in a world, but you're Geralt of Riveria, and you are advisor to the king. You are a monster slayer. You go out, you save people, you hunt down the mysteries of your past, you run into people, you talk to them, you have meaningful interactions, you can sleep with them if you want to. Bit of agency there. But everything is predetermined. There's a story there for you to explore. When you're watching a film or you're reading a book, you don't complain that you don't have agency. You as the reader, you as the purveyor, the watcher. So, do video games need to be that different? You can always argue that because you're playing the role, you are being this character. You, the player, are experiencing this game through them, so surely you should have the option to choose what you want to do, to choose the narrative that you want to see, but at that you kind of need hundreds of different narratives. You can't just have like one story, you can't just have someone write a story that they want to portray, that they want to share with you. They need to kind of work off every single option that you can choose, and when you're plunged into a deep fantasy world with hundreds of people, thousands of quests, just so much to do, then it's almost impossible to kind of code all of that into a single game. So I think that if you want to kind of have agency and you're going to have a game like Minecraft where you can do whatever you want, it comes at the expense of the narrative, it comes at the expense of the story and maybe even the depth of the world. I played Minecraft quite a lot, but I don't know, just the enticement of agency didn't keep me. I suppose you can say that the narrative of The Witcher didn't kind of draw me in either, but I'm not sure if I pre-planned this, I would probably be able to tell you lots of games that the narrative did draw me in. So, I don't know, just any of the Final Fantasy titles, apart from 10, kind of draw me in with the narrative. Final Fantasy X-2 don't exactly have agency, but you can decide whether you just want to blitz the story or do what I'm doing and kind of go around helping the everyman. It doesn't really change how people interact with you, but it's your choice. You can just ignore everyone and save the world, or you can save the people as well. It's a little thing, and by no means like true agency for you as a player, but I don't know, it's closer than most, I guess. As for kind of the idea of quests, just kind of you're given like a quest and you need to do it and you receive a set amount prize for it. That's maybe something that would be easy to do. It would, again, it would be a lot of work, but if you kind of, in a fantasy type setting, had the incomes and outgoings of all of the villages, all of the towns, then maybe you could play around with that. So a town council hires you to take care of the dragon. I think this is kind of like I can't remember if this is something which you postulated, but let's just say that you're able to haggle. You can say that, yeah, I'll slay the dragon, but for 100, for 1,000, a million even, 1,000,000 gold pieces is, well, that's what it's worth to slay a dragon, this mythical creature that will surely destroy your village if nothing is done about it. Now, the village might not have that kind of money, or they might kind of afford the price, but then the village would be bankrupt. So, if you can haggle, you kind of set what you want, what you need, and can possibly coerce them through speechcraft, something like that, into giving you this amount of money, then you have a knock-on effect, and it wouldn't be overly complex. You just kind of make people say different things depending on like the wealth of the city, of the town. You have it look different. You have different things going on, and that's your decision. You choose that you're going to extort money out of them. You can say instead that you're a hero and you only need enough to kind of for the food. You only need enough money for the equipment for the journey. The food for the journey, or you could ask for something else. You could ask for a specific item. If you're a wizard, say, you could ask for the help of a local wizard to teach you their spells, to kind of give up their wealth of knowledge, this kind of years of study that for a wizard maybe they wouldn't want to give up, but if they're not powerful enough to slay the dragon, then, well, it's their home too. They could be coerced. And again, it's just like a simple thing like that you would, sorry, I'm itchy. It's frustrating. Back on track. You're basically setting the pace. You're making the decision of what you want, rather than just kind of being told, this is your quest, this is your reward. Do you think that could go some way to adding a little bit of agency to a character? So in Skyrim, you just kind of go up to someone and press A, given spiel, given quest, accept yes or no. If you kind of decide, well, you're working it out, you're haggling, you're deciding, you're talking, you're interacting. That's like the main thing. I'm not sure if I've seen that in an RPG. Maybe it does exist, maybe it doesn't. But it would have to be a sliding scale. You couldn't just say, it's like, do you want to kind of charge 1,000,000, charge 100, charge nothing, charge a magic item, because then you're just kind of, it's an option wheel, and again, it's not much agency. You're just being told you have choice, but you have a set of 4. You don't have a wealth of options. So that's maybe one thing that I would do. It's a simple trick. It would take a bit of working in, but it might be quite good. And then on from that, you said something about quests, not receiving quests, not having a quest log, hearing rumours. Again, it would kind of, you wouldn't know where to find any information, so you would have to talk to everyone to find out what's happening, to hear rumours, and maybe, I'm not sure, is that something which has happened in video games, where you can kind of talk to someone, get a quest, hear rumours, gets logged in like your quest log, you go there and it turns out that there's nothing there. Is that something which you spoke about? It's admittedly been a while since I watched your vlog, sorry. But no, because that's not developing agency, that's just kind of deepening the world, it's not relevant to your question. So yes, basically that whole bit has just been allow more interaction between the character and the NPCs, and do we want agency if it's going to hinder the narrative? I mean, even my simple example, if you need a village to be in like a set place at a set time of the story, if you've bankrupt it, then what can you do? I think I remember hearing like bugs in Fallout where you can kill certain people and then you kind of need to go back and talk to them to finish the game, to get quests to get information that only they know. If you kill them, then the game crashes. You can't progress, you can't do anything, you can't finish the game. So this is like the second part that I was going to go on to. If you want agency, if you want your decisions, then you want basically I was going to lead into it somehow by saying I'm going to start this. That's what I was going to do. I was going to say I'll start this video with the title of an early B-movie horror film. It's like the video game with the human brain. You need like the supercomputer that is a human brain to kind of work off someone, to kind of interact with them. You can't kind of fit that much information just on a Blu-ray disc. If you want agency, then play a pen and paper RPG. You need someone kind of there with you who you can say, this is the quest, but I want to go and pick flowers. Sure, you could do that in like Skyrim. Going back to that one, you can go around and just pick flowers and become great at potion making, but what do you do from there? In, say, Dungeons and Dragons, you could make a whole adventure out of that. You could kind of say, it's like, what's the rarest flower? Where's like the hardest one to get? Where can I go to find this and make money for myself? You need someone kind of there with you to play off that. It's you. Again, I'm not sure if this was in your video or whether it was when we were talking about this. The stuff you see in video games wouldn't fly. The example you gave was XCOM. XCOM The Bureau, the first-person shooter, where you're basically told, don't let this alien die no matter the cost. And then in a cutscene, with absolutely no control on your part, the alien dies. If that happened in Dungeons and Dragons, that would be, you would go crazy. But in a video game, it's like, oh, whatever, let's keep playing. Because you can't get that interaction. You can't kind of reach over and slap the video game. It's predetermined. If you're playing with a person, it's not predetermined. So you can say, I want to do whatever the hell I want, and you can go from there. You can't go up to a video game and say, I want to do whatever the hell I want, because you're kind of confined. It's just a confinement of the medium, really. You did kind of put a lot of D&D imagery into the video, into the vlog that you made, and I think maybe on some level you kind of knew that I think video games are just too confined, and the agency you have, say, in Minecraft, it's kind of false. If I want to say, I want to be a monster hunter, I want to go around and kill monsters, then I don't know, it's not a very fun game. You can go around, you can kill mobs, you can kill skeletons, you can kill the Ender Dragon, but you're not playing the game. The game is to create stuff and to mine things and to explore, and you only have the freedom to do anything because you're not told to do anything. It's like the illusion of free choice. You're just given no guidance. If you were dumped into, say, Skyrim, but you weren't, if you didn't start at Helgen, if you didn't kind of get in touch with the Blades, then you could maybe argue that you, just kind of cut out the main storyline. And do you have that agency? You can go to any of the towns you want, you can study any of the skills you want, you can develop any skills, any kind of warrior path, wizard path, thief path. You can join their companions and go through there. Maybe you'd want more choices, but if there was no kind of set story, if there was no narrative and you were just dumped into Skyrim, dragons are popping up everywhere. If you weren't the Dragonborn, this kind of warrior of legend, then would you kind of argue that you have agency because you don't have to go and slay the dragons? You're not the Dragonborn. Surely the Dragonborn will come. Maybe maybe that is. Maybe you could just be like a peasant in Skyrim. It's the same game, but you're not called by the Greybeards, you're not summoned by the Blades, you're not enlisted by the Jarls. Maybe you can still go to the Jarls and kind of... the Jarls? Well, the leaders of all of the towns. You can still go there, you can still try to be a Thane, you can still apply for that, you can still kind of buy property, you can do whatever you want, but there's no grand epic quest. I think that's another thing that we said, just kind of don't have an epic quest, have a very small scale thing. Do you think that might work? And again, kind of going back to this, you're taking away from the narrative. You're no longer the great hero, you're no longer playing the role of like the most important figure in this world. You're just some guy. You can buy a farm, you can grow wheat, you can pick mountain flowers, whatever, and it doesn't matter because you're not important. Again, is that like another cost of agency, that you're not important? Oftentimes in stories, if you're, like I'm reading at the moment, the books of Pelennor, I'm rereading them, I read them a long time ago, and in it there's like the prophecy that Mayrad will kind of go on this quest and she'll defeat the Nameless One. She doesn't have agency because it's already predetermined, it's already been seen. She's just a tool of fate, but she is the chosen one, she's the most important. You could say that Cadvan has agency because his future isn't written. He can accompany Mayrad, or he could just follow like the orders of his bard teachers, peers, or he could just live a life of solitude, he could just live on the road. But Mayrad has this grand destiny. If you're the hero of a video game, you're the most important thing, then you have this grand destiny. I can't remember where I started that, so hopefully that's like a closed loop. If you're the hero, if you're the kind of the character that you want to play as in a video game, to kind of have that hero feel, that kind of sense of importance, the sense that you're changing the world, then if you have agency, then it kind of goes out the window. Because rather than saying that you've got this grand epic destiny, you can just say, it's like, this has been preordained, but I'm not going to do anything about it. And then that's kind of like the game gone, out the window. It's no more. So, I don't know, I suppose I could ask, do you think that's a very kind of pessimistic way to kind of look at the future of video games, that you can have agency if you still want to have high adventure and a cohesive narrative, or like a strong narrative at least? Do you think I'm wrong in my assumption that you don't really have agency in Minecraft because it's quite a confined game? Or that the only kind of true way to achieve agency is by playing pen and paper RPGs with like another human who can interact and bounce off you and kind of take everything in stride and adapt their plans according to your actions, which with just an unthinking disc you can't do. So I'm not sure if I've properly answered your question or whether you'll be kind of happy with it, but I don't know, that's kind of that's my theory, that's my idea, that's my mad ramblings on the subject. So just think of a question for you. Again, this is something which I should do pre-planning. So my question to you is, if we can get this fried gold, this game that gives you narrative, agency, high adventure, how would you kind of create the main character? Would you try to do like a Skyrim thing where you're just like a blank slate and have no history? You can be Argonian, human, Breton, Nord, fighter, mage, thief, or would you kind of have a set character? You're just like a man from the Dales, you're a female from grown up on a farm. Do you think that in such a narrative, such a medium, that you would need to kind of have a set character, or do you think that it should just be a blank slate but with, again, expensive narrative, expensive history, backstory? Do you think that Skyrim is lacking by the fact that you're just a blank slate? You have no history, you have no story, or do you think that, say, Final Fantasy X, if you're kind of given the main character and they're a summoner with an epic destiny and their path is laid out, you've got a deeper world and a deeper kind of connection to them, you have deeper sympathy, empathy, they're a human with thoughts, feelings and emotions. Which do you think lends itself easier to the idea of having an agency in video games? Do you want to just kind of implant yourself entirely onto the character, or do you want to kind of play the experiences of someone else? If that's clear, then what are your thoughts? So yeah, that's me for this evening. Good night. Hopefully it was okay. Hopefully it was good enough, and I'll see you next week.